Before I start this review, I want to thank all of my subscribers for their patience over the last few months. I've been prioritizing my studies, so the channel has been pretty inactive since September. More specifically, in regards to the Beyblade Burst reviews, it has been 4 months since I've uploaded the part 1 video for Cho-Z. Hopefully when it's time for the GT review, I can upload it in a timely fashion. To be completely transparent, I've been dreading writing the script for this video because the longer it takes for me to upload it, the higher expectations become. So aside from my studies eating up a lot of my time to create content, I was dealing with writer's block. However, nothing is going to change if I sit around and immerse myself in pity. Thus, I locked in and cooked up a banger as my Christmas gift to y'all. If you are a channel member, this video should be out a few hours before the official release, so enjoy the early access. After this video has been released, I'm going to push myself to have the upload schedule of this channel return to normal. I believe that regardless of my studies, I want to reach a point where I can be successful in all aspects of my life without making sacrifices because I'm simply a greedy person. Now, with all of my yapping that most people won't care about out of the way, it's time for me to discuss my thoughts on the last 13 episodes of Beyblade Burst Cho-Z, also known as the Phi Rampage.
The quaint notion. That so-called bond between you and Achilles shall be broken right here and now by Phoenix and yours truly.
The Phi Rampage arc is the best arc in Beyblade Burst so far. It is an arc that solidifies Cho-Z as the best season of this series. As a result, I have a new standard going into the next few seasons. Continuing off the hype of the previous arc, the Phi Rampage arc started out strong with Aiga's climactic rematch against Hearts, which was a great opener fight for the arc that once again showcased why Aiga is my favorite protagonist in this series. In the first round of the match, Aiga was not able to activate Achilles' Super Z Awakening due to not mastering his new launch style yet. However, Aiga was still able to land a point against Hearts by utilizing the unbalanced weight of Dead Hades against itself, which is a return to form to how Aiga would win matches early on in the series, utilizing his wits instead of solely relying on the power of resonance. This is what makes Aiga's fights entertaining and feel earned. This arc also starts out with the exciting return of Kit Lopez, the little kid from BC Soul during the Burst God season. I mentioned this in my part 1 review and I will say it again, I love that each season continues to expand the world of the series. Kid has a fun personality. The dude is literally the embodiment of the types of individuals that are aura farming for no reason. If you're someone that wants to improve their aura, check out Anime Express, a sponsor of today's video. Let's be real, a lot of anime merch sucks, low quality, and the designs are not moving the soul, but the Anime Express store has something for you. Hoodies, t-shirts, LED lamps, and black blades in stock filled with Mihawk's Conquerors hockey. The site even has some more casual options if you want a more low-key look. Personally, I think the coolest items in the catalog are the Toji compression shirt and the blue lock necklace. If you're someone putting that work in at the gym to attain that godly physique, then this is a no-brainer pickup. Show off those muscles like a true egoist should. Also, since I make sure to look out for my people, if you use the code TheLocalDub10, you get a 10% discount at checkout, so make sure to lock in at animeexpress.store to gain plus 500 aura. Now let's get back into the video. But what made Kit's return truly exciting was his fight against Aiga. I expected Aiga to go undefeated for the rest of the season given Achilles had reached his final evolution. Surprisingly, Kit absolutely annihilates Aiga, which is not an understatement. Kit low diffs Aiga. The low diff was so nasty to the point that when I was rewatching this episode, I was laughing. I was so surprised at how dirty Aiga got done, which is why I will forever be confused on why Aiga is the character people choose to throw Gary Stu allegations at. It genuinely makes no sense. Aiga went through an entire arc of non-stop L's mentally and in battle, and when he finally achieves enlightenment, the man is immediately humbled. A true Gary Stu character would have mastered the Super Z Awakening system on the first try and would have defeated Kit with zero difficulty. Therefore, props for the writers for not writing Aiga as if he were Jenga during the Metal Master season. Now, before I segue into talking about this generation of Beyblade's God of Destruction, I have to talk about episode 41. Lord have mercy, this episode was some Jujutsu Kaisen.
Hey, Sway Lee, hear me and hear me good, nigga. I'm here to double down. That shit is a 2-pack of ass. The fuck are you talking about? That shit stinks.
I hate using this term, but the Battle Royale episode at the school felt like filler. The only reason this episode was good was because of my GOAT, Mr. Top 5 Tokonatsu. If you know, you know. This isn't the video to explain stream lore. Other than Tokonatsu greatness, this episode was horrible. The way Suo was accepted back into the group was so lazy. He literally appears and everyone is chill with him again. It's like when Shu got off scot-free, but 10 times worse. Because at least Shu had an entire season to showcase how he atoned for his sins. I know that I'm not seeing Suo do anything relevant after this season. I simply rolled my eyes and kept it pushing. If someone wanted to skip this episode, I wouldn't even be mad at them. The whole thing was pretty pointless. The pacing of Suo's redemption arc was horrible, but not every development is going to be executed in a way that satisfies me, so it's whatever. Anyways, it took 3 seasons, but Beyblade Burst finally has its true crash out character. Vi will go down as the greatest hater in Beyblade Burst. When his flashback was revealed, I was stunned at how much of an asshole Vi was. Most Beyblade antagonists will have a tragic backstory, or at least a valid reason that you can argue for why they ended up the way they are. Vi has none of that. The dude had a good upbringing and is still an asshole. Free my goat's hearts from this toxic sibling relationship. Vi is like if Beyblade had an antagonist group representing the 7 deadly sins. Vi would easily be the gluttony representative. You know, one of these days I hope a Beyblade series uses that concept. But back to Vi, everything about this character is irrational. His Bay Dead Phoenix is defense type but performs like an attack type, which makes his antics entertaining given the fact that he seeks perfection. Now, even after completing this season, I still enjoyed Hearts more than Vi, but Vi definitely grew on me as the season continued. I wasn't really given a choice since Vi's first fight on his path to destruction was against Free, an awesome fight that showcased how much of a threat Vi was. With Dead Hades absorbed, Vi's fighting style became more chaotic as he used the dead armor as a projectile to harass the opponent's Bay, resulting in his main win condition being pincer attacks. What the writers did with this gimmick choreography wise was amazing. As an audience member, you're just waiting to see how creative Vi can get with flinging this armor around the stadium. Otherwise, this fight was cool for the sole reason of getting to see Free wild out again. His characterization and battles like a feral animal. Also, I'm really hoping Takara Tomy makes a Fafnir inspired Bay next year for Beyblade X, and Absorb Break going into an extreme dash will feed me for generations. So after Free's defeat, the story segues into another set of episodes dedicated to Aiga's training. I'll be honest, those 3 episodes of training were pretty ass overall. The only training episode I genuinely cared about was the one with Laban. Aiga's training episode with Shan had me bored out of my mind. If you were there during the Twitch streams, you know I was just waiting for it to be over. It was a waste of time to spend an entire episode training Aiga's attack stats when they have always been good. At least the Laban episode was about a blader's battle instincts, which made more sense. Also, while the Aiga training is occurring, the B plot is Volt's battle against Kit. Unfortunately, I found this battle to be extremely disappointing. Given the history between these 2 characters, I believe Volt versus Kit should have been its own standalone episode. The writers could have had an entire episode be through Kit's perspective. It would have added to the stakes of this battle. What ended up occurring was a pretty soulless battle that just felt like the story needed to shoehorn a battle in to build up Volt's return to form. A 3-minute long battle? Be serious. This was some God Blader's Cup level of writing, and you'll know how much I dislike that arc. There is even a rematch between Kit and Aiga over the span of these 3 episodes, but once again, I simply did not care. Because what made Kit's return interesting was his dynamic with Volt, which was executed horribly. So how can you expect me to be invested in Kit versus Aiga? Kit's only purpose here is to be a walking stone for Aiga. Overall, I believe that Kit deserved better. Hopefully, he's handled better if he makes an appearance in later seasons. Thankfully, Aiga's rematch against Kit is where all the garbage in this arc ends, because the stretch from episodes 47 to 51 is easily the best in Beyblade Burst so far. Shu versus Vi was good eats. That was a good meal. I was full. I was getting fed properly. I was getting that good glaze sesh. In the first round, Spriggan was able to have Vi at the skin of his teeth. Shu had this man Vi stressing, because otherwise it would have been horrible scaling. I also enjoyed just how cinematic this fight felt when Vi uses the Dead Stinger attack and you hear his voice echo. It's what I imagine a biblically accurate angel would sound like. Also, the OST that played during the final clash between Shu and Vi screamed final boss moves. It reminded me of something out of Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal or Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5, 2 series that have phenomenal soundtracks. One of these days, Takara Tomy has to get with the times and release the soundtracks for each of the Beyblade series. There's literally no reason to keep them hidden for so many years. The fans deserve to have their ears blessed. Now, after this fight, there was an entire episode dedicated to the team coming up with strategies for Aiga's upcoming battle against Vi. Some people might view this episode as filler, but I believe that it plays a massive role in what makes Aiga versus Vi fantastic. In my opinion, a good fight is only as good as the setup leading up to it. You need a balance of quality setup and execution in order to create a great fight. Both are integral towards the other's success. The whole point of Aiga's training in this episode is to train his defensive stats in preparation for the moment Vi will pincer attack Achilles. Hence, to witness Aiga's training recreated in the final battle against Vi was amazing. Witnessing the payoff to the Cho-Z shield blocking Phoenix's attack is what makes that moment in episode 50 so fucking hype. This episode also showcases Aiga's maturity. The man now has healthy ways to deal with his aggression. However, while I do love this episode, I'm still finding it counterintuitive that bladers can fix their broken bays in the span of 5 minutes. It kind of takes away from the severity of Vi's actions, but I guess this series cares more about the mentality of characters than the actions themselves. Now, I'm going to skip discussing the final fight between Aiga versus Vi too much, since I have an entire video deeply analyzing that fight on the channel. In my opinion, that video is the best analysis I've done on the Burst series, so check it out once you finish this one. So after the masterclass set was Aiga vs Fi, the title match between Aiga and Volt did not disappoint. Remember how I mentioned earlier that setup is integral to a good fight? That same logic applies here. Before the big fight, there are some good character moments leading up to it. Aiga says that his previous fight against Volt didn't count, that Achilles and him are going to win while being true to themselves. Furthermore, the moment where Aiga feels overwhelmed by the sheer weight of Volt's footsteps really humanized him as a character. Thus, even though you know Aiga's win is guaranteed, this fight still did a good job at being entertaining and discovering new ways to surprise me in regards to choreography. As the first round started off with a simultaneous burst finish that set the tone. There's even a moment where the rubber on Valkyrie's evolution driver wears down enough to awaken mid-match. As a result, Valkyrie spins so fast to the point where its Super Z awakening revives. The feat was so ridiculous, it was as if the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime writing team was in the room, and I loved every second of it. Also, I think this series understood how cool the driver mode change from Spriggan Requiem was in the last season, as they had to incorporate that again in this fight, and guess what? I'm not complaining. Plus, this fight was great because it is always fun witnessing Aiga and Volt interact. Their personalities are so similar that you feel as if two twins are arguing. Aiga becoming champion was cathartic after witnessing the ups and downs of his journey. I believe that he's the best friend protagonist in the Burst generation so far. Overall, Beyblade Burst Cho-Z was a great experience, and I had a lot of fun watching it with y'all on Twitch. Now, Beyblade Burst Cho-Z isn't perfect. There are definitely some fumbles. For example, I believe that it would have been beneficial to have an entire episode afterwards to enjoy Aiga's accomplishment instead of immediately switching to the next season. However, this is the norm for these long-running weekly series, so it is what it is. There's nothing in this season that's super egregious like the previous one, and the highs far surpass season 1. For that reason, I'm not sure if the other seasons will be able to surpass Cho-Z. Hopefully, they are at least relative in quality to Burst God. Although the runtime per episode now being cut in half is a huge concern going into Beyblade Burst GT, but that's a discussion for future me to deal with. Also, everyone that keeps asking me when I'll be streaming the next Beyblade Burst live reaction, patience is a virtue because I'm technically on vacation right now, so I don't have any of my streaming equipment. TLDR, let it cook. Now, if you're someone that stuck around to the end of the video, the honey will be poured on you. If you want to talk to me about anime related topics, check out my Discord server and follow me on Twitter. Also consider becoming a channel member, another way to support me, and I support you back with shoutouts and videos, early access to new uploads, custom emotes, and members only content depending on what level of membership you decide to choose. On this channel, I discuss whether something deserves a W or an L, so if you're someone that enjoys content that keeps it real, consider subscribing to change this channel from local to global. Now, I gotta get back in the kitchen to cook. Peace.